So many of you have asked, is there a book available? Is there any information? Have you written a book yet? So the first in the series of Bend in the Road, the Caregiver Workbook and Journal, is out, published, ready to go on our website. And what this book is, it's a quick read, folks. It is a quick read. But let's just look. It often starts with something small, a phone call. Your father fell. He's okay, but we think he needs some help around the house. Your mom went to bridge club and got lost coming home. I don't know what to do. The journey starts. The bend starts. A few errands, a short-term plan, nothing major, until 1 week turns into 1 month into 1 year, and somewhere along the way you realize this isn't temporary. This is the new normal, and normal is nowhere to be seen again. I wrote this book for every family member that is trying to take care of their loved one or friend that's out there trying to take care of someone that they care about, to give you a place to reflect, a place to see that you're not alone, and a place to understand what's going on with them and what's going on inside of yourself at the same time. This is the first in the series. The next one will be out soon. It will be A Bend in the Road, Aging with Dignity, and that'll be more for our aged community, to understand not only what's going on with themselves, but what their families are going through while they're trying to be the ones to take care of them. So I encourage you to go over to morethanheart.com. You can get it as a PDF and download, or you can buy it as the paperback, and it'll get shipped out to you. But it's a real quick read, but a lot of valuable, a lot of emotional, and a lot of fun information in it. So right there, A Bend in the Road, Caregiver Workbook and Journal. So the name More Than Heart, and how we name the company More Than Heart, is as a family member, you have that heart to go in and take care of your loved one. But it takes more than that to provide dignity and respect. It takes an understanding of what you're going through emotionally and what they're going through physically and emotionally as well. And once we bring that understanding to you, then we enhance the level of care they're getting, but we also keep you from pulling your hair out in the midst of one of the most challenging things you'll ever do. I've said it before, one of the hardest jobs anyone will ever do is care for their parents or their aging loved ones, because you have so many relationship dynamics that go on in there. It's understanding those that helps you get through it and helps you be a better person when you're caring for them, just by understanding that you don't say certain things to someone who has a cognitive decline. Understanding that you're all grieving. You're grieving the person that they once were, and they're grieving the person they once were. So we enhance their care, but we also keep you more sane by giving you that information. That's what More Than Heart's all about, is providing information to the family caregivers to help them understand and provide a higher level of care and provide the dignity that each and every one of our aged loved ones deserve. In trying to rescue someone we love, we often forget to rescue ourselves. But your soul matters too. Snapshot story. Every anchor needs a chain. In the days before my mom passed, many people were in and out. The time was busy, reflective, and I was exhausted. I'd flown in for a quick trip to care for a wound she'd gotten during the fall. A quick trip, then I would go back, like always. Never did I dream this would be the last of so many monthly trips. This would be the trip that we would face our final sunset. Yet here I was, weeks after my arrival, standing on the back porch, surrounded by the buzz of laughter, tears, and chatter of family. I stood there hearing everything, yet comprehending little. I was staring out at the yard, wondering what I was going to make for dinner. It was in that moment that my son-in-law asked, "Are you okay?" I shrugged. "Yeah, I'm fine." I didn't ask for what came next, yet with a surprised motion, he wrapped his arms around me and held on. Then he said words that I will never forget. Words that held more meaning than almost anything anyone has ever said to me. Every anchor needs a chain. I got you. Find your chain, or find the many things that link together to make that chain and hold on. I put together this book, stories like that, stories that I have lived through with my own family, with clients, things that let you know that you're not alone, things that let you know that this isn't going to last forever and that you can make it through it, but things that also give you the opportunity to provide a higher level of care, that give the dignity and the respect that your loved ones deserve, and you the understanding of where you're at in the midst of it. So, Bend in the Road, Caregiver Workbook and Journal. It's on our website, morethanheart.com. I encourage you to let this be one of the links in your chain, because every anchor does need that chain. You never planned to become the one they need the most, but here you are, called, chosen, and forever changed. The moment you become a family caregiver, you are giving up so much of yourself to take care of someone that you love. It's hard. It's hard work. It takes a lot more understanding than you'll ever know. You come into it with the experience that you have as a parent, raising your own children, as an aunt or uncle, watching nieces and nephews. You don't ever come into it from the experience of taking care of someone older, especially someone that once took care of you. And so the only way we can create an environment that's healthy for both you and your aged loved one is to give you understanding. So A Bend in the Road, the caregiver journey, tells stories, it gives solutions, it gives you a place to reflect, a place to think. It gives you an opportunity to understand a little bit deeper what's going on with them and what's going on with you, to help you give them the best care possible, but take care of yourself in the process. So I encourage you to come on over to morethanheart.com, hit our store there and grab your copy. Bend in the Road, the Caregiver Workbook and Journal. A Bend in the Road, the Caregiver Journey. This isn't your normal written book. This is my spoken word in print. As you read, it's my hope that you hear my voice, feel my heart, and learn to share my passion. Chapter 1, The Unexpected Role. Ready? You never planned to be the one they need, but there you are, called, chosen, and forever changed. Time passes so fast, but it lasts a lifetime. One day, you're looking up from your stroller seat, gazing lovingly into the eyes of your mama or papa as they strap you in. Okay, truth, you're arching your back in protest. You're doing anything to keep them from strapping you in. But let's keep going. And what feels like an eternity later, after learning to walk and talk, after scraped knees, first heartbreaks, high school graduation, and perhaps raising your own stroller push protester, that blink happens again. And now you find yourself behind a wheelchair. You walk around to the front and you gaze into those same familiar eyes, the eyes of the one who once towered over you, who steadied your steps, who taught you to trust. Except for now, they're looking at you. It's that simple yet monumental bend in the road that transforms you from a comforted child to a family care provider. You find yourself standing there, heart full of love and fear, asking, now what? No one gives you a roadmap for this. There's not a manual out there titled How to Become the Caregiver of the Person Who Raised You. No training, no preparation, only the quiet, sacred curves of life leading you here. One day you find yourself helping your dad with his socks, driving your mom to an appointment she used to take you to, ordering prescriptions, rearranging finances, answering the doctor's questions, and then realizing that the doctors are now looking to you, not them. They are now seeking the answers from you, the child. You look in the mirror and you ask, how did I get here? The first phone call. It often starts with something small, a phone call. Your father fell. He's okay, but we think he needs some help around the house. Your mom went to bridge club and got lost coming home. I don't know what to do. The journey, that bend starts. With a few errands, a short-term plan, nothing major until 1 week turns into 1 month turns into 1 year, and somewhere along the way you realize this isn't temporary. This is the new normal, and normal is nowhere to be seen ever again. Becoming a caregiver without a title. Caregiving doesn't announce itself. It doesn't just rush through the door and scream, "I'm here." You don't get a warning, a training class, or a certificate of completion that says you're ready. It creeps in through a third reminder to take their meds, through a doctor saying to you, "Stay just in case they forget my instructions." In those moments when you cancel your plans again because they just need a little more help. You don't feel like a caregiver, not yet, but you have crossed that threshold. Naming the shift. Why is it important to name this role? Because when we name it, we allow ourselves to see it and to grieve the change that happened. Define our new title and even learn to embrace it. Invite others in to support us. We're now a family caregiver. Begin to learn and ask questions about the role that we know little about. You are not just helping, you are now caregiving. You are now navigating one of life's most tender, heartbreaking, beautiful roles. Whether this role is accepted due to an obligatory connection or a relationship, the role of the caregiver is anchored in love. Remember, caring takes heart. Dignity takes understanding. So let's move on to the understanding. The grief no one sees. Grief isn't only for funerals. More often than we realize, it's the piece of life that silently changes and never returns. Most people think grief comes at the end, after the funerals, after the flowers, after the final goodbyes. The reality, grief is an ongoing process throughout life. We grieve changes in our lives, the monumental ones that take away our normal, leaving way for the next new normal. We grieve after we graduate high school, loss of friendships, loss of connections. Our first love, our children who leave us with those empty nests. Grief is a powerful wave of change that will forever leave your life different. Have you ever known someone who became so depressed after their children moved out that it interfered with their ability to function? That's grief. What about the person who looked forward to retirement only to wish they had never stopped working? This is a normal life grief and needs to be honored. The lesser known and not talked about grief is anticipatory grief. This is the grief that comes when you know things are going to change and you're seeing subtle changes. The wanting so desperately to hold on to today that you grieve what tomorrow is going to look like. This grief oftentimes robs us of our present and takes away our ability to enjoy the moments before us. Grief, while very normal, can be crippling. To prevent being crippled, we must recognize grief's presence in our life. Caregivers need to know grief often begins before death. Grief isn't exclusive to us just as caregivers. Grief is very present in the lives of those we serve. Recognizing that your loved one is grieving too is the most powerful tool to providing dignity that they deserve. Grief creeps in during their first forgotten moment, the first stumble or fall, the first time you see weakness where once stood strength. It is those moments when you see the once strong, steady person of your youth in a different way. You grieve the shift, not always loudly, but quietly in the secret corners in your heart. Understanding that many short-tempered reactions and frustrations are coming from a place of grieving is very important. Anger is a normal stage of the grieving process, not just for you as the caregiver, but also for the loved one who is now grieving their own losses, their own shifts. Respect that each of you are often coming from a place of high emotional energy. You are grieving that once strong authority figure in your life as you watch their physical and possibly cognitive abilities shift. At the same time, your aging loved one is grieving their position of strength and independence. Do not allow these frustrations to define your relationship. Allow them to grow you closer in honest conversation. Admitting that you are scared will help them to admit the same. In this vulnerable moment, you will both find much strength. My mom forgot my birthday. Not because she didn't love me, but because dementia had blurred the calendar in her mind. I smiled and said, "It's okay," brushing it off with laughter. But later that night, I stood in my bathroom and I cried. It wasn't about the birthday or the lack of the card. It was about losing a piece of her. A small ritual that had stitched us together. Our birthdays stood just 2 days apart. Forgetting mine meant forgetting her own. If only I could forget that she was getting older. If only I didn't see what Father Time was taking away from us every day. That moment wasn't about cake or cards or celebration. It was about a slow erosion of who she had always been. It was realizing that our time together was being shortened, and frankly, I wasn't ready. Growing up, life felt endless. Grade school took forever. Adolescence dragged on. Adulthood arrived slowly, one heavy step at a time. But from then on, the one who once strapped you into the stroller, cleaned your scraped knees, and stayed up worrying about you, your life passed in a blink. Then it happens one day without warning. You're now pushing that wheelchair instead of holding their hand crossing the street. You look into that face and you see those same eyes, only changed by time. Changed by the quiet grief of the inevitable changes and loss. And you grieve. You grieve long before you say goodbye. Caregiver grief is ongoing. It doesn't wait for the end to begin. It is invisible. Others may not recognize what you're mourning. Heck, you may not even realize what you're mourning. It is complex. It is love wrapped in sorrow, gratitude tangled with resentment. Yes, there is resentment in this. You resent that they're human. You resent their mortality. You may grieve the loss of your role as the child, the independence that once fiercely protected you, the conversations that now wander, forget, and fall silent, the memories you once shared with them, your own free time, dreams, or friendships that you've now had to set aside. Yes, you may grieve them. You grieve not just them changing, but you're changing too. Grief without guilt. We tell ourselves, at least they're still here. I should be grateful. Others have it worse. I have no right to feel sad. I chose this. I need to stop complaining. But here's the truth. Gratitude and grief can live side by side in the same heart. You can weep for what is lost, even while fiercely loving what remains. You are allowed to grieve without guilt and without apology. Grief does not diminish your love. It actually proves it. Permission to grieve. Write yourself a compassionate letter that says, "Dear me, I know this is hard because." Let yourself name the pain and honor it. So this book comes with places to reflect. It gives you an opportunity to name your pain, to understand your pain, but to acknowledge it and to write it down. And once you do, once you've got it out into the open, then you can actually see the reality of it and deal with it. Otherwise, grief kept inside can turn into depression. Guilt versus grief clarifier. When sadness strikes, ask, am I doing something wrong or just feeling something hard? Most of the time, we're not doing it wrong. We're just feeling it hard. If it's the second, offer yourself grace instead of guilt. If you've done something wrong, offer yourself grace anyway. We all make mistakes. I do this for a living. and I make mistakes every day. Companion journal prompts. What small loss am I grieving today, even if I haven't spoken it out loud? An affirmation. I can love who they are today and grieve who they were yesterday. That's a powerful and important part of understanding when you're taking care of your loved ones, that you're going to lose pieces every day, but you're still going to have part of them all the way through that final sunset. And acknowledging that and grieving that as it comes makes the journey so much easier for you and for them. So we've given you the journal prompts to guide you through this.